The global inflation that we has been experiencing over the past few years also signifies a weakening of global currencies. And the question of whether Bitcoin can serve as a hedge against a depreciating dollar, it has gained significant interest among the investors. Or should it be still the goal? In this study, I will analyze into the top 8 cryptocurrencies to determine which one is a more reliable currency hedge. My name is Kon Hao. My work in this channel, as always, is to study behavior science in finance, discover correlations between the different markets, and uncover potential opportunities. And before we get into this topic, please do take some time to read into the disclaimer. We're going to do a comparison between the Bitcoin's direction whenever the US dollars appreciate and depreciate. And let's look at this period over the last 3 years, March 2020 to May 2021. We can see that the US has been coming off. Let's look for March 2020. And where is March 2020? It is here. So I'm going to put a little note here. And we have May 2021. May 2021, it is here. And so what happened when the US dollars depreciate? And we can see that during the same period, the Bitcoin appreciated. And how about during this period from May 2021, which I've drawn here, to September 2022? And let me find where is September 2022. It is here, September 2022. This the one. And what happened to the Bitcoin when the US dollars appreciate? And we can see that from this point, the Bitcoin has came off. And maybe what I should do is to change the color to black. And let's look at from September 2022, which is the dollar index. What we're seeing here is the dollar index. Till now, we could see that the dollar index has been coming off, and that was September. And from then to now, what happened to the Bitcoin or cryptocurrency? And we could see that the cryptocurrency has been coming up and is currently at 42,150. And for that, I think I've forgotten to change the color to blue. So we could see a very clear reference point here is that whenever the US dollars depreciate, what happened to the cryptocurrency here or the Bitcoin? It appreciate. And that's what we're going to see. And we could gradually see a point here is that with inflation, it also means that the currencies are weakening. When currency weakening, inflation will come. So which asset class is one of the better hedge today? Could it be Bitcoin? And we also know that in Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies, there are so many cryptocurrency, which one we should use. And I personally have coined 3 criteria to select the one that's more reliable. Number one is that it has to have a track record. And we could see that the Bitcoin, and this is what we're seeing is the cash. And earlier is the Bitcoin futures. At least for now, we can trade the Bitcoin in the exchange where it's regulated. But what I'm going to do is that I'm going to compare the time period of a cash Bitcoin so we can see a little bit further into the history. And number one is that the criteria is that it needs time because it has to prove itself that it has a longevity. So as an investor, I know that I can rely on the asset class. And number two is the size. And if we look across, which I also stated the size, where you could see that Bitcoin is 750 billion, Ethereum is 250 billion, and so on is the rest. And Bitcoin to me is like the Tesla of EVs. So Bitcoin is the Bitcoin of all cryptocurrency at this point in time. And I kind of like number two, it fits into my criteria, the size. And number three is the resilience. Now, what do I mean by resilience is that each time there are crises, there's bear market, they did rebound back strongly. And let's look across very carefully. Here's that Bitcoin, it did rebound. and Ethereum, it did, but not that much. Binance Coin, not at all. And XRP, just a little bit here. And Solana, unfortunately, the history, point number one, it don't give me that track record that I want to see. And you know what I mean here. And this is the three criteria, which at this point, I would still see that Bitcoin is the one, the choice that I will go for. And let's look at the part here is that then how to trade the Bitcoin. And that's what I've shared over the past few videos on how to draw a trend line. And with that trend line, how you clone it to make it as a parallel channel. And in short, here is that we can see that I believe that over the long term, Bitcoin is going to trend around this channel with this volatility. And this is what I call it as a primary uptrend line with a primary parallel channel. And within there is this secondary trend line as well. And I'm seeing that Bitcoin may trend along this secondary parallel channel, and maybe it's reaching its time for profit taking. But definitely as it comes down along the way, I'll be definitely looking for position and levels to pick up Bitcoin currencies again. So in conclusion is that can Bitcoin effectively hedge against a falling dollar? I'm going to reference to these three criteria. Just to recap here is that and say that given the option to choose between just gold and Bitcoin, I would still rank gold as my number one choice or rather. The last video we did discuss about between the dollar again and the gold. We could see that the gold since 2023 October, the dollar started to depreciate, but we could see the correlationship that the gold has appreciated much. But it also have a long history for me to keep a book, to keep a record, to keep a reference. So however, it is worth noting that Bitcoin is starting to emerge as a hedge against the dollar, although it is undeniably well suited for trading purpose. The markets are always telling us on their next move. Join us in our weekly case study and discussion. Click on my profile icon to find out more. Feel free to leave any comments below. I love to exchange ideas with you. Really happy that you stayed through this tutorial. You have many great trading weeks